Good morning, class, and to whoever is listening to this video. I'm here to present how to analyze ordinal data in perceptions or assessments. This is usually the second objectives of my students because they want to assess perceptions and assessments of the respondents. Now, what is ordinal data? Ordinal data is measured through ranking, and responses for perceptions or assessments is usually in a 5-point scales. We have your satisfaction 1 to 5 and likelihood 1 to 5 and level of concern. Everything is 5, where 5 is the highest and 1 is the shortest. In the methodology, you need to mention what is the meaning of very satisfied so that in your data analysis and your interpretation, you will mention on the average, the respondents is very satisfied, meaning then you need to mention what does it mean when we say very satisfied. Their expectation has met the services provided or the product provided. You need to put that one. So anyway, let's have a recap of what we have discussed during my last video. We did the encoding of the AC2 repellent using the questionnaire, the survey questionnaire of my student, which is Arvin. So he encoded the data. So this is how he encoded. He really followed it. So we have here the demographic and the respondent. Did not use the name of the respondent, and that's good because of Data Privacy Act. We have here the age, the gender, the occupation, income, and how often. And he also get the average of each subtopic of customer preferences and customer satisfaction. So he also measured the overall customer preferences. If you look at my previous video, I have provided how to get this one. And here we have the overall customer satisfaction, and we have here the per indicator average. When we say average, the commonly used is the mean, but when we say averages, it means the mean, median, and mode. So here, let's go to the JAMOVI application. JAMOVI application is a free software. You can download this one in the internet, and it is easy to use, especially for students or teachers who are starting as a researcher or as a if you want to analyze the data. So how do we import the data? All we need to have is to click this one and click the import and then browse. Then you need to find out the uh, it's here in analysis and we have here Arvin. So it's this one. Okay. So we have here, we need to erase the first 3 because it is the default and we don't need the 3 columns. So we need to delete that one. And then you save this one so that it is easy to retrieve data analysis. Okay. Now, we want to average the responses of the respondents. So first is you need to click the expiration and then descriptive statistics. In this manner, we will be able to get the average of each indicator. We have your effectiveness of your breeding mosquito and the average. So all you need to do is to click this one, also this average. You can press the control and then shift and then press the last variable you need to analyze. Here we have variables and it will automatically compute the median. So we only need the median here. You can actually have the interquartile range. So you can check this one, the interquartile. But for you not to get confused, we will not just include the analysis of the interquartile, but I will just present it to you because the partner of median is the interquartile range. Okay, after getting the median, you can go now to the frequency and you can use the, so after getting the median, we have here the median and the interquartile range, but we will just use the median for the benefit of everybody. So here we have the question number 2 for question number 1 for the effectiveness in repelling mosquito. So you just need to drag it here and it will give you the count of um, the responses. So we have here 3, 4, and 5. It means that number 3, we have 2 responses and 3 means neutral and 4 means um, very satis very satis strongly agree, and the count is 13, and we have 5 which means strongly agree and the count is 35. So the total here is the equivalent total of the respondent. And we can see here that there is no 2 and 1, which means there is no respondents who answer strongly disagree or disagree. Also here, we can see which is the median by just getting the cumulative frequency. We have here 50 responses, right? If we have the total, we have here 50. So 50 divided by 2 is 25. So what is the responses? If you arrange the responses from lowest to highest, what is the response of the 25th respondent and the 26th respondent? So all you need to do is to create a cumulative frequency. We have here 2. 2 plus 13 is 15. So it's not yet 25. So you add, so 25 falls under this count. So the answer of the 25th and 26 responses is 5. That's why the median here is 5. And after that, you need to put the second responses, second question, and then third question, and then fourth, and then fifth, and also the overall average. If you remember, the data we have encoded has, for the customer preferences, we have effectiveness, safety features, we have average local production, marketing strategy, pricing, and average. We have overall customer preferences. But since it is a long questions or long variables, the customer perception, we need to do it by subcategory. So for the effectiveness in repelling mosquito, the 5 questions, we can see here the frequency of who responded neutral, strongly, agree, and then strongly agree. We can see here that nobody responded 4, 2, and 1, which means at least the responses is at least neutral. So after getting the results, we just need to copy this one and copy and then put that on another file. So remember, class, that you have 2 files. You have the statistical output. This is what we have discussed in class, that when you have the analysis in JAMOVI, you need to create a separate sheet, statistical output. And remember that this one is for objective number 2. You need to write here what is your objective number 2. So you mention here what's your objective number 2, and then you put the objective 2. Of course, there is objective 1 here, which is your demographic characteristic. Objective 2 is your statistical software for your perception assessment. Usually, this is your objective number 2. So you just copy and paste the whole result. We have here the statistical output. And then the statistical output means the answer from your JAMOVI. Once you analyze, there is an answer in the JAMOVI, and this is what you will paste on your appendices. You put here the objective number 2. So we have here the median and then the interquartile range. And here you have the frequency or the count of each responses. So this is for your appendices, but you also have to do your results and discussion. So you have 2 files, the statistical software output. This one is what you put in your appendices, and customer preferences is what you put in your results and discussion. So this is made by my student. So I asked him to just put it here so that it would be also useful for my discussion in Zoom. So thank you, Arvin, for doing this. So you need to make a table, 8 column, and we have 7 rows. 7 rows. The column heading should be the responses, which in your questionnaire, minimal or not at all means 1, and slight or somewhat means 2, and moderately means 3, and high and very high means 4, and extremely means 5. And then you get the median, and then the qualitative description. You have here the qualitative description for the median. Qualitative description of the median. Before we started the discussion for this one, I actually mentioned to you about the meaning of that in your methodology you need to mention what does it mean when we say extremely. When we say extremely, therefore, it is very effective and the customer preferred to use A2C repellent compared to the others. You need to make that, and of course it should be supported with literature, but if you cannot find, you can just make your own. So we have here a lot of indicator for customer preferences. We have here effectiveness, safety features, and local production, and also marketing strategy and pricing, and the overall customer preferences. Here you also have the customer satisfaction, but what I have discussed to you or I have presented to you is only the effectiveness. Here, this one is the effectiveness. Now, since I will not be discussing all the table, I will just present to you one table, which means you will do by your own. Then the table should look like this. There should be no borders. So you take out the borders, and then the top should be 1.5, and also the bottom. And under the column heading, you need to have a border that is only 1, and then top. So it will look like this one. And then it is more good if you design your table that would auto-fit content. Okay, it doesn't work well. So here we have to put your legend of the median. So 1 is minimal, 2 legend of the, for the customer preferences, need to make a table. So you mentioned table. You started from the beginning, from introduction up to here. What table is this now? So you can have table number 2, assuming that your first table is your demographic characteristic, and then you will use descriptive stat for the effectiveness in repelling mosquito. Okay, or you can have average responses. So we have the median, and its equivalent. The number 1 question is 5, so it was put here, and we have here 5 also. Here 5, we have here 5, and we have here 4.5. When we say 4.5, so the average response is 2. We have high, very high, and extremely, because this one is a ordinal in nature. So we cannot have 4.68 with point something. So if your response is 4.5, you can use very high or extremely. Then we have here number 5, the median is 5, and also here the average is 5. Now, for the responses here, the frequency of those who answer minimal, question number 1, there is no 0, so you put 0. Also, there is no who responses to, so you put 0 also. But in those who responses 3, the count is 2, that's why you put here 2. And those who responses 4, which is high or very high, you put 13. And here we have the extremely, you will use the 35. So here you get the median, and the median is 5, which means extremely. Now you also do that to question number 2. Nobody responded to 1 and 2, so therefore this is 0, 0. And Those who responded 3 is only 1. That's why it's 1 and 19 and 30. So you need to follow this one for the frequency of the responses. Now, a question was raised by Arvin that, ma'am, why is it here we have 2, 1, 4, 4, 5, and 0, but the median here is 0. For the overall, that's why you're confused because you put median here. It should be overall effectiveness. Okay, so that's why. For the overall effectiveness, no one answered 0 and no one averaged 0 and moderate or moderate no one, but there is an average of very high. So the average for the overall effectiveness, there is a median answer. I mean, there is a high and very high. So if we look at here, let's go to the effectiveness. We are average effectiveness. You see, it's only 4 and 5. There is no responses that is 3 for the overall. That's why we cannot see here an average overall effectiveness uh, overall effectiveness of the median that has an answer of 3 because if we look at the data here, there is no 3 answer, only 4 and 5. Okay, so that is how the median works. Then we have here extremely 29. But if you total this one, it should be total of 50. So we have 21 plus 29, that's 50. And you also total this one, it should be 50 over here, 50, 50, 50, 50, unless there is a missing data or respondents who did not answer the specific questions. Now, question is how do we interpret the result? So it's very easy to interpret the result. First is you need to mention the overall effectiveness. But you need to call first the table. So how do you call the table? You just mention table number 1. Table number 1 presents the uh, the overall customer preferences in terms of effectiveness. Okay. So first is you mentioned the overall. Here we have on the average based on the data gathered. Respondents agree, no, not agree, extremely prefer the AC to the talent. Okay, so this is what I have mentioned to you earlier that you need to have your methodology. What does it mean when a customer says they are extremely preferred? So what does it mean when we say extremely preferred? This is where you need to mention your methodology, the meaning. So you need to use the interpretation of the extremely preferred. But if you do not have, then that's the problem. Anyway, when we say extremely, you just put here n is equal to 5 here. And we are referring to the side. There's one, extremely. Okay, and here we have extremely. If there is a red one, just click it. Then specifically, respondents extremely preferred the AC2 repellent because they found out that It is effective in repelling mosquito. So that's the M is equal to 5 because we're here. And we are talking to the question number 2. Respondents. Oh, wait this one. Respondents extremely preferred the AC2 repellent because uh, it provides a long lasting shield against mosquito. Support 5. Then number 3, it is, we're referring to here, um, the time because the time and you have here 5. Oops. Mm, and it is recommendable A to C. Recommendable A to C recommend no others. So let's go first. I know M is equal to 5. Moreover, respondents were either very, very preferred, very, or extremely preferred the AC repellent in terms of its effectiveness in than the other mosquitoes repellent. So here, from Mexico to Porto. Okay, so you provide literature. Why do you think that the answer of this one is extremely they preferred the effectiveness of the AC2 repellent? You explain why their responses are like that. So because AC2 repellent is like that it is supported in the study of blah 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 blah. The ingredients of the AC2 repellents is, yeah, you support the answer and take note, it has a lot of table, so you need to discuss more. And we have here it's the summarize. So we have the effectiveness, safety feature, local production, strategy, and pricing. So this one is overall customer preferences. So here, overall customer preferences. Actually, you just take it here, overall, and so here, overall, 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 and then you put it in one table just to see the overall customer preferences. You change also this one. So that's all for today, how to analyze ordinal data in perception or assessments. Have a nice day and God bless you.